All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Thursday, April 15th. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. Now guys, we are coming fresh off our third straight winning day on my Patreon website. And that's going to put us at 2-0 in our last couple of board member tier package picks on that Patreon page. We're also 6-3 in our last 9 board member tier package picks in that very same category as well. We currently have over 1,325 members who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, guys, we're going to start off with the Bucks versus the Hawks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Atlanta. The Milwaukee Bucks are -5, totals 229. And if you like the Hawks in an upset at home here, they're plus $1.65 for some money line cash. Now, Atlanta's currently on a 3-game winning streak, 7-1 against the spread in their last 8. And despite the consistent absence of John Collins, Cam Reddish, and Chris Dunn, this Atlanta squad, they've been able to win quite a few ball games without their significant role players. Now, Tony Snell and DeAndre Hunter, they're also listed as out. Gallinari and Young are questionable. Having said that, though, Young's been playing through pain recently, and he's really given Atlanta a fighting chance over the past few weeks, playing through injury. Now, Atlanta's won 7 out of their last 8 ball games, and that's kind of impressive with a lot of their players on the injury report lately. Now, we have seen significant movement toward Atlanta in the early wagering here. I'll get to a little bit more, to that in just a second. But I also kind of think that most markets are anticipating Young in the game here this evening, on top of the information I'm about to give you. But anyway, Trey's dropping over 25 points a night along with 4 rebounds, 9.5 assists. Meanwhile, Clint Capella is scoring 15 points a game himself, along with 14 big rebounds. And speaking of rebounds, this is where the big news comes in. Or no, it's not. Sorry. Give me one sec. Atlanta's one of the better rebounding clubs in the association. They're in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive rebounding. Now they're taking on a Milwaukee club who may be affected in the rebounding department this evening. Here's the big news. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's been ruled out for today's game. He's battling a nagging knee injury. And even when they're at full strength, Milwaukee hasn't done a great job covering the point spread on the road. Out of their 28 road games this season, the Bucks successfully covered the number in just 11 of them, and that's good for just 39% in that particular category. Now, Milwaukee allows their opponents to make nearly 40% of their three-pointers when they travel. The Bucks are also last in the NBA defensively in third-quarter points allowed. Now, total-wise, I do still think this one could possibly get over the number despite the absence of Giannis. Milwaukee saw 4 out of their last 6 get over the line, 6-4 to the over in their last 10 meetings with Atlanta. Meanwhile, the Hawks went 6-3 to the over in their last 9 themselves, throwing out the Toronto game. I'm going to lean toward the Atlanta Hawks +5 in the over 229. The next ball game, it is going to be Warriors versus the Cavaliers, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. The Golden State Warriors are -8 on the road, totals 224. And despite a very impressive performance by Steph Curry last night, Golden State's in the second of a back-to-back here today, and they've notoriously played bad on the road this season. Golden State's won just 10 of 28 road games, and they successfully covered the point spread in only 35% of those contests. Now, the Warriors are also one of the worst rebounding teams in the association right now. They're dead last in the league in defensive rebounding, bottom 10 in offensive rebounding as well. Pascal and Wiseman, they're both still out indefinitely. Meanwhile, Kelly Oubre has been listed as questionable. They're taking on a Cleveland squad who's won 3 out of their last 5 themselves, and that includes victories over the likes of Charlotte and San Antonio during that span. Now, the Cavaliers also went 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 as well. Cleveland successfully covered the point spread in 50% of their home games despite their bad record. And they also do a pretty nice job rebounding. The Cavaliers are in the top 10 in defensive rebounding at home. Now, Colin Sexton has been listed as questionable. He's currently battling a groin injury. Now, he didn't play yesterday in hopes that he could perform here today. Sexton's scoring 24 points a game along with a couple of boards and 4 assists. Meanwhile, Darius Garland, he's scoring nearly 17 a night himself, along with 2 rebounds and 5 assists as well. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the top 10 in the league defensively in fourth quarter points allowed. And when it comes to the total in this one, 5 out of Cleveland's last 6 did get over the number. Golden State saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 8 in the over 224. Next contest, it is going to be Kings versus the Suns. Don't know why I flipped those over. But anyway, Kings versus the Suns, 10 o'clock East. The Phoenix Suns are minus 13, totals 231.5. Phoenix won their last 3 straight, 9-1 straight up in their last 10. The Suns are currently 22-8 as the official home team, and they lead the NBA in home offensive field goal percentage. Devin Booker scoring over 25.5 points a night, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists for Book. Meanwhile, Chris Paul scoring over 15 a game himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the veteran point guard. Now, in addition to making 50% of their field goals at home, the Suns are also drilling nearly 40% of their three-pointers on their home court as well. They're taking on a sputtering Sacramento squad who lost their last 8 straight. And they also failed to cover the point spread in 8 out of their last 10. Now, the Kings have been victorious in only 10 of 27 road games, and they give up more points than anybody in professional basketball. They're dead last in points allowed, dead last in defensive field goal percentage. Now, total-wise, Sacramento's 31-24 to the over for the entire season. Phoenix saw 7 out of their last 9 get over the line themselves. The Suns are also 18-12 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns minus 13 and the over 231.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup of the show. It is going to be Celtics versus the Lakers, 10 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Boston Celtics are minus 6 on the road, totals to 11.5. Now, Boston's played some pretty good basketball here recently. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak, 6-1 straight up in their last 7. Now, the Celtics have also successfully covered the point spread in 5 out of their last 7 as well. Boston plays pretty well on the defensive end of the court. They're in the top 10 defensively in points allowed, top 10 in defensive rebounding as well. Jason Tatum scoring 25 points a night, 7 rebounds, 4 assists for Boston. Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown's dropping 24 a game himself, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists for Brown. The Celtics are in the top 3 in the NBA defensively in second quarter points allowed. They're taking on a Laker team who's got a ton of guys on the injury report, alongside of AD and LeBron, of course. Now, Drummond, Morris, Kuzma, Schroeder, Matthews, and Gasol, they're all listed as questionable for tonight's ball game. And even at full strength, we're still looking at a Laker team who really isn't all that prolific in the scoring department. LA's currently in the bottom 10 in the NBA in scoring on average per contest. Now, Los Angeles is also in the bottom 3 in third quarter scoring as well. The Lakers are also really not too much of a long ball threat either. They're making just 33% of their three-pointers at the Staples Center. Now, total-wise, 6 out of LA's last 9 ball games stayed under the total, throwing out the New York game. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Boston's gone 80% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Boston Celtics, minus 6, and the under 211.5. And with that, guys, it is now time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like the Atlanta Hawks plus 5 over 229, Cleveland Cavaliers plus 8 over 224, Phoenix Suns minus 13 over 231.5. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 2-0 in our last 2 board member tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also 6-3 in our last 9 board member tier package picks in that very same category. I'm going to lean toward the Boston Celtics -6 and the under 211.5. And with that, guys, we're going to hop into some YouTube shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Sherwin Sagusio, Chuck Lord, Julio Rodriguez, Derek Mastrangelo, Gerald Podolsky. Wow. Shout out to Yusef Azmi, Alex G, Frank Garassi, Rare Keem, and last but certainly not least, shout out to my good friend, Diori Chambers. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. It's crazy, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a speech impediment. I don't know if it's like CTE in my brain from playing football for 14 years of my life. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's early onset dementia. I don't know. But there are just like, I'll tell you what, over the past year, I get on here and I just can't get it out. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind, we're going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a package here today, you're going to get access to that content that you pay for all the way through the end of April. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.